Wow, that was good.
And we're live. Evening, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in to tonight's podcast. If you're on YouTube or if you're listening on iTunes or any of your other podcast providers, really cool tonight that actually we've got Jorn Bakken in tonight, who's from Moss Jiu-Jitsu in Norway. We have another one of our Viking friends. We've, as a quick intro, we've sort of trained with Jorn loads of times when we've been over to Iceland, and it was cool to get him on tonight so we can talk about obviously how his academy got started and his sort of training in jiu-jitsu and all that kind of stuff. Because I think from what I remember, got a slightly different setup in terms of how they work, like public sport and things like that out in Norway, and so that'll be really cool. So thanks for jumping on. Thanks for coming on. Quite short notice as well. We kind of messaged him like a couple of days ago, suddenly realizing that we hadn't done anything about the podcast, and kind enough to jump on as well. So thanks for jumping on.
Thank you for inviting me. I've been as we talked about, we in Norway closed down on the 17th of March, and after that I've been growing my belly a little bit and watching too many BJJ videos and all the techniques, but watching you guys, so nice. Thanks for this segment. It's been I put it on all the groups that we have for Moss Jiu-Jitsu, and people watch it, and you guys are doing the work and the best we can do right now.
No, absolutely. Thank you for doing that as well. It's good, it's nice. And it's just good. It's helped us. I think we've said it quite a few times. It's helped us keep in contact with people. And we were saying just before we came on about trying to keep contact with people. And, we've had a really awesome opportunity to talk to really cool people that actually it'd be really hard to get them to talk to you, otherwise, because they're busy and everything else. So, it's been cool. It's been really
I went through the list of professor. Oh, blue belt from Norway. Okay.
Not just any blue belt.
Not just any blue belt.
That's true.
So, just to give people a bit of background, how long have you been training? You've probably been training similar to us, maybe a bit longer.
When
did you start?
I started when I was 40 years old in 2002. I promised myself that I've been waiting long enough to try this, and been in martial arts for almost 30 years. And so 2002 on Christmas Eve, I told my girlfriend that I was going to start up, and we did that the 5th of January that year, and been training ever since until the 15th of March. So that is my journey in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So 7 years now. Something like that.
And how did you straight away? I don't know if I've ever asked you this. Did you straight away find the Pedro Sauer Association, and who did you start training with first of all?
I think I'm starting. I'm from a really small place, farm place, and there was nothing training. And my mother and father gave me a VCR when I was 12, and I rented all the Jackie Chans, all the ninja movies, all the Chuck Norris, all the Bruce Lees, everything. And when I was 14, I was old enough to more or less travel to the nearest town of 10,000 people, and there they had the taekwondo. So I trained taekwondo from I was around 12 to I was 18, and did some national teams and things like that. And I studied somewhere else and moved, and I left a little behind. But then when I was a little bit older, I moved to the capital, Norway, and that was in 95. And I was really looking for a place, and I've been always into martial arts and watching the UFCs and things like that. But I knew there was a place in Oslo that had the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But I, after 3 years, couldn't find out where they are, because there were like 10 or 15 guys and moving around. So I think I missed the training 2 or 3 times, trying to get there. And then I said, like, okay, I can't figure this one out, but what's the closest thing I can get? And that was Japanese jiu-jitsu, or aikido in Korean called hapkido. So I started training hapkido for like 10 years. And then in 2002, I said, like, okay, I have to change this. And I just bought all the Gracie University DVDs and said like this in this Taekwondo club, which is still training. These guys who want to train Hapkido with me, I want to do this afterwards. So after we had trained Hapkido, let's set a group, and we bought a big TV and starting watching the DVDs. And yeah, we started with 2 people, and when COVID now struck, we were about 38 or 40 people training. So yeah, it's been a nice journey. And just after that, I think Alan Maganello was touring in Halden, and I by chance heard about it, went there, got the connection, and Johan and me start talking, and after that I was into Pedro Sauer. And since my background is in Hapkido and Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, Aikido, it's been always about self-defense. And yeah, the Pedro Sauer and Gracie was my preferred choice. And he also had the curriculum, which for us that started at absolutely white belt, some Nevasa, but still that was one of the things I felt like after you had the Gracie University DVDs, you know what the curriculum actually can do. I mean, I trained for 2 years without any, or like 1.5 years without anything. And when new people got in the door, we felt like, oh, I knew things. I'm grown. I'm like, this is easy. Like this is actually after like 2 years, I have big guys coming in and test me out, and yeah, I did okay. So yeah, that's just from the DVDs, and of course after that it's been much better. But still, the curriculum and Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, the self-defense part has been my focus. Yeah,
it's impressive. Like it's quite a lot of parallels to us, although you had to look even harder and work even harder to find obviously ways of training and being able to get the training you want. So kind of yours put you sort of in that sort of old school position where you had to really seek out the training. There's a bit more of it. Obviously, there was more of it over in the UK by that point, probably when we started. So we had a slightly easier, but yeah, you've done it sort of a harder way in a way. But it just proves, that curriculum makes a massive difference. We find we say that all the time, don't we? That having a curriculum, although sometimes I know with some people it's not the most popular thing in the world. As soon as we had a rotating curriculum that went round in a predictable loop that people knew what class was going to happen what night, the speed of improvement of the students was, they just all of a sudden we just went, oh wow, oh okay, that makes a massive difference.
And another main thing is like also for the people that are not that athletic and not there in there for the sport, you actually need the most like people that, for me, nothing comes very easy. I have to repeat and I have to understand it. And as long as I know the way, I know I take smaller steps, but I get there. And that's what I see. We have people from like 7 or 8 years to 70 years old, and all train. And the curriculum is actually what makes these people stay with us, and still hope sending me mails and SMSs every day and say, when can we start training again? And so without that curriculum, I think we wouldn't have any Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in Norway at all. The curriculum is actually what keeps these people coming to us, and when they're a little bit away or something like that, they knew what we're going to train, and if they missed it, they can actually go and see what we did. And if they want to do it more when they get home, they just take a look at the videos again, and that is unique in our system. So
and for people that don't realize, your academy where you train, that's actually a really big mat space, isn't it? You've got a really decent sized.
Really, we are. I don't know how that transferred to you guys, but we have 300 square meters. I don't know how much that is. It's
it's big.
Yeah. And have you guys? Did you come to us when Pedro was there? Yeah. So we have huge space, and
we were only using half of it, if you remember. We were using the smaller half.
Yeah, we now have, but now we have like what do you call that? Like plastic tar all over the place. When you guys were there with just the mats, so now we have the easy to clean and everything like that. And but in Norway, the thing is like it's a taekwondo club, and we are part of the taekwondo club. But in Norway, the place is more or less funded by the children to train there, because if you have children under 14 that trains, the state more or less gives you the double of what they pay. So the club is about 200 members. 40 of them more or less is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but 100 of them are actually Taekwondo kids. And then we have a small Muay Thai group of 20, and then the rest is grown-ups doing Taekwondo. But it says like we can be in that huge place just because of the children and the way that Norway is funding at these small clubs. But we can't then be professionals more or less like you guys, because if I take salary out of this club, then the state don't pay us. So it's more like on a voluntary basis. As long as the trainers don't get paid more than a certain thing, then the state pays double what the children more or less pay. Yeah.
Okay. So and do they pay for them? So is that across kind of all of sport? Do they pay?
All of sport, as long as you're a member of the Norwegian Athletics Association, more or less. I don't know, something like that. As long as you're there, and all the trainers get some A and B and C courses, and you sign these things, and also then we get money from the states. But somehow also a pretty strange thing, we also get money from the people that do betting, sports betting and things like that. They also have to pay into the sports association, and they then give back. So actually it's the only way that they're allowed to do betting in Norway for sports, is that you actually pay back to sports, and children's get most of the part of that money.
That's cool. I quite like that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So gambling is actually legal because of children's sports. I don't know what that tells you, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's almost like getting smoking to pay for kids' healthcare, isn't it?
Absolutely. Great example. Yeah.
So you've been really similar to us. You've been locked down pretty much the same. Have you had any time out of lockdown since March?
March it came, all went down, all schools, all kindergartens, nobody allowed to work. If you can work from home, you must work from home. And that was until May, I think, June. Then there was, of course, holidays, and after that, they're starting the children up to 12 can train, and then children up to 18 can train, and then was a professional sports. But now after Christmas, they turned that all back again, because we have this spike, and you guys mutated some virus, and it came to us, and I don't anyway. So then all breaks were off again, and now if you're under 20 years old, you can train. So our Taekwondo program is back, but of course our Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai, most of the people are over 20, 25, average, very close to 30. So we don't do anything. I could maybe go and train 2 or 3 people, but then again, these people then wouldn't have partners enough, because you're only allowed to train 4 people in the group, and it's just complicated. So we just said, like, we wait until people over 25 can train, and then we will turn it back on again. Yeah.
So have they given you some sort of timetable? Do you know kind of what the next couple of months is looking like or anything?
No, nothing, no timetables at all. But what they say like now is, I think we are on, I think we are on 4% of people with the vaccine.
Right.
And they think in Norway, they will do the vaccine, they'll be finished in late summer.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that we will fully open after the summer holiday in August. That's what everybody thinks. Yeah. But I don't know. We are outside the European Union, so we lost out a whole lot of vaccines. We're supposed to have 1 million vaccines, and then they didn't come. I think you guys, hopefully, you have it.
We've got them all.
Yeah, so no timeline whatsoever has been given to us. No.
I think the latest for us was what, the 1/3 of the adult population has had their first dose now.
Okay. Oof, that's
18
great.
million.
35% of the adult population.
Okay.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah. Any of you guys?
No, but we all found out. Well, we kind of knew anyway, but officially found out today because we've all gone over 40 now that we're actually one of the next priority groups.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
But I think that means that we'll probably get it sometime between April and June, so not that much of a priority.
Yes, same timeline as we have. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are they doing with the kids? Because we've got this thing where as we go back in and before we re-lock down again, we could run the kids' classes, but then we weren't allowed to interact with the kids.
Same thing here. You're not allowed to touch them. You're not allowed to guide them, and they have to train within square meters. These 4 kids have to train within, and you have to sign up which kid trains with kids, and it was just like, I mean,
we kind of got around that one, didn't we? Because we just said, look, we don't even want to mix the kids up because it gets like too much of a headache. So we just said, look, bring your pet. The parent jumps in with them because then they're in a household bubble rather than a training bubble.
Yeah, but then in Norway, if you're over 25 years old, you're not allowed to do physical sport inside if other people are more than 20. Then so we couldn't do it. No.
It kept changing for us at the end of last year. You could sort of do certain things, and then you couldn't, and so we've been, but that's where we currently that's where we'll probably be in April, I guess, won't it? Again. Is that you can the adults can't train in an exercise class, but kids can. But then if it's a parent and child group, then you can have, we should be able to have parents there still.
Okay.
So it's kind of that, because the parents aren't there to train, they're there to make sure the kids don't hurt themselves.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we'll find out.
Yeah, and it's been like people have coming like, oh, it's closed now, it's now it's getting there, and then it's going down, and then it spikes up again, and we're back on. So that's the way it is. The biggest challenge is, I believe, that even though a few people have been paying and say they're coming back, but life takes part and things change, and even though people are paying now because they pull about how much, like 10-15 pounds a month from the bank account. I don't think they even notice anymore. So it's been exciting to see who actually coming back after this long, and especially like people that are close to blue belt or like close to something, like how do they feel? It's been strange.
We were saying the other day that you almost get the point where people after being out for so long, it's not necessarily a jiu-jitsu thing, but when you haven't been able to be near anybody for a long time, do people get a little bit phobic of just close contact? Not because they're kind of like, post-vaccine, it's maybe, it's not so worried about that, but they're just not used to social contact anymore.
No, you're right. And
even eye contact is hard.
Yes.
I'm just going to carry around a screen so it looks like I'm on a device and people might look at me.
No, but do you guys use face masks whenever you go shopping all around? Any transportation, face masks all over?
Yeah, we're still in sort of that phase. That face mask, social distancing, and then that's well, it's not a lot more you can do, is there? I suppose.
No. And you don't have these people running around say that that's against nature to wear masks and things like that. That's America, I hope.
Yeah, we have those as well.
Yeah, we have
you
those.
do?
We've got those. We've got, I suppose everywhere's probably got it. We've got everything from, we've still got the people that don't believe it exists, or
okay,
we've still got from every fringe to, I had something the other day where I was driving down to my studio, and I don't know if I've told these guys this actually. I was driving down to my studio and someone jumped from the pavement into the middle of the road because someone was walking past. And literally, they and I had to slam on the brakes, and then inform them that they were way more likely to be killed by my van than they were to be killed by COVID.
People have a strange relationship with risk since last year.
Yeah.
The very small transmission risk as you go past someone like this versus jump in front of a car and try that one out.
You're right.
Yeah, but cars have been around for years. We know about those. COVID's new and different.
Yeah, cars definitely hurt.
Yeah.
Definitely hurt. Hurt.
Were you in the van as well, Pete?
Yeah, I was in my massive van.
How long's that van?
7 meters long. Yeah.
Able to see you coming then. Yeah.
Yeah. I was quite surprised, I have to say. But there you go. So yeah, we've got everything from the people that just want to train and want to kind of, ignore it and everything else, like, or every way. But it's tough and it's difficult. And I try and. Yeah, and then the vaccine thing as well. Obviously, some people super keen to have the vaccine and some people not keen and some people very anti-vaccine. But I think as a whole, our vaccine uptake has been really high over here, isn't it?
It's been exceptionally high compared to the estimates that they're using to plug into the modelling to find out what they think it's going to do. They're assuming like an 80% take up or something. And I think averaged over the age groups they've done so far, it's like 95, 96% uptake or something.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think that goes down. I think that acceptance goes down the younger you get. But with the people they've done so far, it's been like.
We'll be all right now though, because the Queen came out this week and told everybody to do their duty and get the vaccine. So we'll be fine.
And that's it. You're like, if she says it, you guys will say, okay, then we do that.
Mom.
Wow.
Yes, Mom.
I think you get one way. Some people say yes, okay, definitely. I'm gonna do exactly as I'm told by the Queen. Other people are gonna go, don't like monarchy.
Yeah.
That one.
What are you looking forward to most, Jorn, when you get back on the mats?
I have to say, like, what I'm looking most forward to, it's that contact you bond with people that you train with. Sometimes, usually, when we're old and sparred for an hour or something, and you sit down and you stretch and you do that talk, and you get in contact with people that somehow you don't do, not at work. You can work with people for years, but if you roll with them 2 or 3 times, that the connection you make there, and just to see people come in and starting and feel like you guys said, like it's going to be, when we're getting together now, the fear of intimacy or closeness is going to be for many people much harder to do. And then to come there and see people coming in and get the feeling of the partners and get the culture that we have there, and just feel like, okay, we're doing good things again, because all these people that come in the door and start training, and you feel like I actually bring something of value to their life. Whatever I do personal, whatever I sell as a professional or my business, that feeling that when you see a 16-year-old coming in, which is skinny, and he's the reason to be there. He don't want to tell you right away, but still, when you enrolled with him, and after 2 or 3 months, you see the fathers coming and watching the training and talk to you. That is, you can't pay for that. That's what I'm looking forward to feel that I contribute to the society and the place I live in. That's that's the most important thing, and nothing beats that, really. No,
it's good. You mentioned there, like, the 16-year-olds come in and train, and then the parents come to watch. Do you have many families that train? Children and parents train with you or not?
Yeah, we have. I think we have like 2 or 3. They have one parent is my age, 45 or something, and he has 2 kids, one boy and 1 girl, and they are around 10 years, 12 years, and they've been training us. That girl is like 12 years, been training us for 2 years. And she brings friends in all the time, and she's already starting to become a challenge. Like 12 years old, they take it like that. And so when she brings friends or something like that, let's say we have like 4 or 5 of them training together with us, you see how see how that thing goes and how much they learn. You even though you train them, you don't think they pick up so much because they're unfocused and things like that. But when they actually start rolling, you got everything. It took me 1 year to learn this, and you actually been just looking at it for 2 times and you got it already. So, whew, yeah, that's problem coming your way in a good way. Yeah.
No, it is scary how fast they pick it all up. But no, I think it's brilliant personally when you see the families training together. I think that's been one of the real positives that's come out of this last year for us. There's been a fair few parents that have got involved, and I'm interested to see how many parents end up staying involved after and when we're back, because they've experienced it for a year, and they would have felt jiu-jitsu. So interested to see how that pans out.
I think it's the same for the spouses in some cases as well, isn't it? Because obviously, whenever the adults have been able to train, they've had to train in a social distance manner. So you can bring a family member because they're part of your bubble already. Yeah. So that we've had a few of those come into the in-person sessions, but also when people are dialing in from home because we're running our stuff, on Zoom. We've got quite a few people that we've never really met them in real life. But they're legitimately now able to do some stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, Claire, your wife had never trained before, had she, Robin? And she's been consistent all the way throughout, hasn't she?
She didn't have a choice.
So you're getting ready for a blue belt test yet, or not?
So, Robin, your wife had not been training before this?
No.
She started after COVID? Ah.
She'd done some other sort of kickboxing and stuff with me some years ago, and we've spoken about jiu-jitsu before, but with my 2 kids, that's obviously difficult for childcare, and stuff like that. But now they're starting to get that little bit older. Then actually, realistically, after this is, once we are back to normal, we might be able to sort of free up a couple of, enough time for childcare for that,
Oh, that's brilliant.
They're definitely an age where you can just leave them at home now.
I tend to agree with you, but I don't think child protection.
there's one school age, then you can leave them at home.
Lock the door, turn the power off, fingers in the sockets.
They won't open the door to any strangers because everybody's scary after the last year. So they're fine.
We've got rid of stranger danger. It's just danger now. Everything's a danger.
Everything.
So you mentioned earlier that you as a young person you watched all of the different martial arts movies. I couldn't help but think, as you were reeling off all of those movie stars, what was your favourite Bruce Lee film? Just got to qualify this question.
Favorite. It's a little bit confusing because they're actually called different. That they're called different in the opposite. UK and US actually they named, but the Enter the Dragon was my favorite, and somehow the Big Boss, which was my first one. Those two I would have to say. But there's a guy called Shugosuki who made these ninja movies, and I was Pray for Death and all these things, and I was heavily influenced by those throwing stars and things like nunchucks and whatever. All these things.
How many times did you hit yourself in the knee with a pair of nunchucks when you were a kid?
Knees and nuts and heads, all over the place. I make them with spikes. That was a good idea. Oh yeah.
Kids don't know how easy they've got now. They just flick through Netflix to find the movies. We used to have to go to the video store, find the right section, wait for the movie to come back in because Jörn always had it out on rent, So.
And we had this in school. We had this carpenter classes, and then we find some brooms and we cut those up and we stole them and we put some leather on them and nails, and that's what we did. Yes. You probably can order them on eBay or whatever, but we couldn't.
Yeah, you had to go through. Did you get? You must have done all the. Yeah, you get all the martial arts magazines. Where in the back of the magazine, there's all the different.
Black belt. I have that one, and all this letter courses where you could be a trained assassin or a spy or something, change your identity, go to different places. Oh, that was fascinating. Never ordered one though. No, maybe I should. Yeah.
Do you think that had an influence on what you do for a job now?
Well, for 5 years I did actually, or my working career was that I was after I was in the army, I did 1 year for the UN peacekeeping in Lebanon, and then I came home and I worked with movies and cinemas for 10 years, more or less. I did distribution for Paramount and DreamWorks and Fox and Universal, and then, so as some of you guys noticed, it was a digital era that came in, and iTunes and a few others. People didn't buy these shelves here were probably full of DVDs or maybe VHSs before that, and now there are books in them somehow. But then I did that, and people stopped buying, and then I entered knife. So I was working with Gerber knives for like 5 years, and now went under the COVID. Actually changed jobs, so now I started up a distribution company for hunting rifles and things like that. So Blaser, Sauer, and Mauser is what I distribute in Norway now. But movies and those kind of things have absolutely shaped my interest and my work. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
I'm just looking at the books behind you. I think I can see a Gracie book there, just over your left shoulder.
You got two.
So here is
two Gracies. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, somehow this is the English version. So it actually I rented it out to a friend, and he didn't give it back, and then I bought a new one, and then somehow he gave it back to me again. So yeah, and this is the Bible, the one, and you guys try this? The diet? No, I've been trying that for now half a year. I don't know.
So the other thing that you're a pretty well-travelled person as well, aren't you?
Pretty much, yeah.
How many countries have you done now? How many places?
Oh, I think I lost count after 50, but yeah, I've been traveling, and luckily my girlfriend for the last 20 years has the same interest. So yeah, we travel a new country more or less every vacation. We never go to the same place. So, and I've been also lucky with my job. So yeah, love to travel. Yeah, meet new people. Yeah.
This is tough. What's been your favorite place so far? Where's your?
I have to say, have any of you guys been to the south of Africa?
No, I haven't. No.
I envy the man that haven't been to Africa. I have to say that. It's a quote by somebody I don't know, smarter than me. But anyway, when you first go there, yeah, Africa made an impression on me. A really big impression. I was there first time in 2002, and tried to actually go back to new places every second year. So Africa, the culture, the nature, people. Yeah, I have to say Africa changed me in many ways, and I try to bring as much people with me there as I can. So, and the struggling they are going through right now is ours is petty if you take all what they do, the way that they are needing tourism and things like that, and nobody's coming now. Yeah, I'm fearing the worst of what's happening to the national forests and wildlife, and for us to get there and spend money is, I think, very important. So we'll see. But Africa, yes, my clear answer would be Africa. My girlfriend trusts me a lot, but I'm not allowed to go to Brazil by myself. So I don't know. But of course, Brazil will be on top of my list. Yeah, and I would like to go to the Pedro Sauer camp, training camp, and things like that. But I have to figure out to go with her. So one of the few countries that not allowed to go to. Yeah.
So I guess you've travelled to lots of different. Sorry, Pete. I was going to say you've travelled to lots and lots of different countries, but how many of those countries have you trained jiu-jitsu in?
Actually, pretty many of them. I always bring my no-gi and short. So I actually trained in more than, I think I was more than 10 countries I trained. America, many times, many different places, but none of them actually under Pedro Sauer. But I was actually, that was a good one. I was going to Las Vegas with UFC, and that was Brian Ortega's first fight. And then I went over there and talked to Johan like a week before, and he called me like, Jorn, don't tell anybody, but I'm going to see this fight. And I said, you are? I'm also okay. And then we go there a few days before. Turns out Brian can do the fight, and early that morning, Johan called me and said, like, are you doing something? No, it's the day of the fight, but I'm just here and eating it. Take a trip to this, take a cab and go to this place. And I came there, and there was Hiron and Henner and Brian Ortega, and we had a full day of training, or like 2 hours of training with them. That was cool. Yeah.
Wow.
And I also I've been to Croatia, and there I met some people, and they have been coming here as well. So I've been training with them, and Italy, Spain, France. Yeah, I think and everywhere you go, you meet the same kind of people, and you just come on in, and it's amazing. I don't want to say like everybody's doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is amazing people, but I still have to say that I haven't met many assholes in this business at all. I mean, people are just genuine, and it's my girlfriend said, every time we go to places, you go to this with these big guys with tattoos and things like that, and it turns out every time we've been there a few days, we go out eating with them and meeting their families, and like how they take you in is amazes me every time. I have to say, every time. Yeah.
Yeah, and you said at the start, professor, blue belt, but you might have the best story there, where you just turned up to dinner with Henna Hiron and Brian Ortega. So
yeah.
you're winning on that front. You dropped the best bombshell.
Yeah, and I mean, all the people that you meet in this journey. I mean, living together with Andre Galvao, been living together with Henner, and last time is living together with Alan Maganello. Pedro Sauer has been actually in this room, sleeping right here, and like the stories that they tell when you're out eating, like we thought, after you rolled that half an hour on the mat when you're just sweating and relaxing and just talking to people, the stories, and it's amazing. Yeah, it is.
What's your kind of top tip for if people are traveling around and they're going to different academies and things like that? What would be kind of I know you said everyone's really welcoming, and yeah, absolutely. Is there anything you'd say, like, try and do this before you go, or be like the academy? Or
I would always call first, or contact them first by Facebook or something like that, telling that you're coming. I am 48 years old and I don't look frightening, or I'm not big, but if you're young, I mean, if you're 25 years old guy and just comes into the studio, it all depends on the energy you give out. But if you pull a few jokes and tell them before you come in, and just they are prepared that they're coming, I've always been very welcome. And even I was training a little while in a Swedish club because I was working in Sweden, so I was training with them, and they have the European Masters and everything's like that, and some of the UFC guys as well. Gustafsson trained there. I trained with him a few times as well. And as long as they know you're coming and know what level and what you expect, they're always welcome. But I had a few guys coming into my place and always welcome, and it turns out they have some kind of agenda or something, or want to test them out, and then you have to know who to pair them up with. But if they already have placed you and where to take in, I feel that's it's just plain courtesy, in my view. to say I'm coming over and want to train with you guys, and just get know the pricing and the hours of training. Yeah, well, usually, yeah, I never been dismissed. I never had a no anywhere. So, but yeah, good tip always to contact them first and tell you where you're coming. And we are really lucky because we are under Pedro, and I trained under Gracie Baja. I trained under Alliance. I trained under all these other places. And as long as you drop is maybe name dropping is not the right thing to do everywhere, but to name drop his name is always given me good experiences, I have to say. Yeah.
It's good. It's good tips for people that are thinking about traveling and a bit maybe nervous about taking their gi with them when they go on holiday. Or
I always pay for the gi. I don't travel with the gi, but I tell them I don't have. And if you tell them that, you pay like 10 euros for your stay, like a week, and then they usually they bring in, some of the guy have extra gi, and if you're only there for a week, let's say you train 3 or 4 times, this haven't been a problem. Usually I travel at summertime, and then it's hot and no gi is easy then to have a rash guard in. My girlfriend also said, no, I haven't checked out anything, I don't think I'm going to train this vacation, and then he goes to my bag and pulls off the gi and some tooth protection, and says, you're not going to train? Maybe there's a place there.
The thing that, like, I found it fascinating, but I did it in Singapore. Was the only time that I've trained. Maybe I've trained elsewhere, but Singapore sticks in my mind. And it was a Pedro Sauer school, and I trained with Cameron Sobes. You see him on, I think he's one of our episodes. But what blew me away was, we were talking about the syllabus earlier. It's like you walk into a completely alien environment. Lots of different people. Everybody's looking at you as if to think, well, who is this person? What are they? What are they about? But as soon as you touch hands and you roll, you're talking the same language. And with the fact that it was a Pedro Sauer school, it was exactly the same moves, and it was, you could predict what the next person was going to be doing, and it was a special experience, actually, just to be able to go the other side of the world and see people doing exactly the same as you. It was highly recommended.
Yeah, if we can ever do it again.
Oh yeah, true. I'm looking forward to coming to Norway.
That would be great. No, but as soon as we can travel, I have UK on my list, and since I've been now buying both Prime and Netflix, I've seen The Crown. I've seen
So Jörn, the other way round. I've seen Vikings. I've seen The Last Kingdom. Anything Vikings, I'm obsessed at the moment. So
okay. Yeah, you should come. We have the greatest Viking museums, and lots of places. Actually, just like half an hour from here, we have one of the greatest Viking burial grounds in all of Norway. So next time you drop by, we'll do extra Viking tour for you. No problem.
Yeah, we did. Last time when we were there when Master Sauer was there, it was a bit of a. By the time we got to you, we were already like 2 hours sleep for the last.
That was a long weekend to get to that Sunday.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. And then obviously Jörn was like nice enough to let us sleep at the academy, so we slept at the academy, and then got up about 3 hours later, and then
let's plan that better next time. Let's absolutely do that. And that's one of the things I really hope for to get started, to have Pedro Sauer or like these black belts coming to Iceland, Norway, and the UK, and to have this rotation and then to meet again, and for especially also the students to meet your students and Iceland, to have that brothership connected again. For people I think people are really missing to travel, and maybe we will be only able to travel inside Europe or the closer distance than we used to be, and then it's a great opportunity to go and train and meet again. So that's what I'm looking forward to as well.
Yeah, definitely. And people don't realize, like, we are, you know, this whole thing, especially over the last couple of days, I don't know why particularly I've been thinking so deeply over the last couple of days. It's dangerous.
Don't do it. It's definitely dangerous. You
Yeah. I might catch on fire or something. It's like rubbing two sticks together. But maybe it's because we're lucky enough to have a bit of a timetable going forward now. So maybe I've been a bit more reflective about, okay, this is what's happened, this is what's going to happen, and this is what I'd like to spend my time doing when we're, you know, free again. But yeah, people don't realize, like, Norway's not a long flight to get to you guys. It's not,
No.
although they've changed the airport now, haven't they? Have they closed? But
Yeah, the one that's really close here, Moss is closed down now.
Yeah.
Probably gonna open in a year or two. But anyway, like now it's like one. I think I fly from Oslo to Heathrow 1 hour and 20 minutes, something like that. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really nice quick jump.
Yeah.
And if you time your flights right, then it's pretty cheap as well, or it was. I don't know what it'll be like after.
Well, that's another thing. I mean, we have Norwegian, like one of Norway's biggest companies, like how many thousand people, and I think there were around 600 planes or something like in the biggest. I think they're down to 53 planes now. 80% of the people that used to work there are laid off, and yeah, it's gonna be, yeah, the traveling thing with cost is gonna be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, and as we were saying earlier, it's exactly the same. You know, we walk into, you know, we come to your academy. You know, when we came to your academy, and it, like you say, it's just like a home in a different venue. You know, and everyone, you know, is super cool, and you know, same. We go to Iceland, we walk in with those guys, and it's the same. And yeah, no, it's just awesome. So I'm really excited, and I think, like you say, we can do loads of stuff with Europe.
Yeah.
And get that connection working even better than we figured it out before, and yeah, and involve, because we always kind of had that connection, didn't we, with all the European academies, but maybe we didn't pass that down to the students, or get the students involved in that as much as we could. So yeah, definitely, absolutely
utilize the connection that actually jiu-jitsu can give to you, and make sure that when they go to the UK, that they actually drop by you guys and say hi. And that way, the more people you know, sometimes you connect with people on a different level, and some of my students will probably connect with your students, and then they will see possibilities. And yeah, it's so easy, and people are used to this kind of communication now, I mean, in work and everywhere. So I think that will only make the possibilities better that way. Yeah, no, I think it'd be great, exciting. Maybe that's why, maybe because I've been thinking about stuff more, because it's getting a bit more exciting. It's a bit closer. Yeah. We might be able to strangle each other again soon. That would be nice. That would be really nice. Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. Like I heard all these rules that if you've been away for a month, it takes you 1 week to get back. And like, okay, we've been now for 12 months now. How long will it be to be on the same level as you were? Will you ever, like, when you get there, like, it's, yeah, that's going to be exciting to feel how that goes. And especially with when you get a little bit older, like I do. I was going to do the purple test in April, so like 1 month away, and then we stopped, and all that thing. How are you, like, it took me like half year and all the training and get into repetition, and just see how this mind connects with the rest of the body on that level. It's gonna take some time, but if I have one thing, it's time, so I don't worry about that. But it's to see how all the students, when they get back, they will feel like, okay, we're all on the same level now, but we all have gone down, but how fast are we going up? And that will, yeah, you will have a kind of blue belt frustration there, like, okay, I think I'm going up. No, you actually feel like you're going down, and this up and down ride will be interesting to feel, and to see how other people are taking it as well, like those guys who were really spiking and coming up and catching you sometimes and things like that, and how will they now feel when they haven't been training, and and new people are catching up to other people again, and the level on the mat will actually be a little bit different. How do people that feel that? And if you have a good culture and a good club with the right environment, it should be okay. But I think we'll feel a little bit of testing that thing. Yeah.
We've spoken about that quite a bit, haven't we, Pete? Like just how to kind of ease people back in.
Yeah.
Are they going to be, potentially? I don't know what the word is. It's not agoraphobic, but it's something along those lines.
Yeah.
Also, like expectations. Like,
yes,
I should be able to do X, Y, Z from a technical point of view, from a fitness point of view, from a like we call it like when we were talking about it last week, like the suit of armor. Like if you haven't done as much of that type of exercise, you're going to hurt more because you haven't got your suit of armor on.
absolutely.
So expectations are going to be, potentially going to be way out from reality. And I think we were talking about just kind of how do you kind of taper that back in,
Yeah.
All students always hear that talk about you can't afford to have an ego, you have to leave the ego at the door. I think if ever there is a time, it's when you come back after lockdown.
Yeah.
And you need to dedicate 5 minutes, the first round, instead of sparring at the end of class, talk and just say, look, don't feel like you have to win. Actually, everybody's mission is to get submitted. And I think once you get that kind of, I don't know if you have the monkey off your back, it's that saying. Once you get that out of the way, then it's okay. Just play, just have fun.
That was the key going thing, wasn't it, Bill? Do you remember? It was like tonight I'm gonna tap 10 times.
Yeah.
And he even made sure that he got that many times, because if you have that agreement with yourself to start off with, and that's your goal, then someone else didn't take it from you.
Yeah.
And it means that people are more willing and accepting of doing it.
That's a good one.
I think the other tip, I can't remember which professor gave it to us when we were talking to so many recently. So sorry if it was you, and you bothered to listen to us ever again. But to do situational sparring is a good tip, I think, as well. So instead of just a full-on, any position, just work these two positions. I think that might get people back in the right spirit.
Yeah, that's a really good thing. I mean, in the last 2 years, this has been probably the best thing that we've done. It's like we usually train blue belt and a bone or advanced or whatever you want to call it. We had like 1.5 hours, and we did half an hour with techniques, and we did 1 hour with sparring afterwards, because that's what people wanted, and that's how it all turns out. But when we separated that 1 hour with sparring and did first like 10 minutes with positional sparring, and then we increased it to 20, and we should increase it more, because that is where I've seen the biggest growth on people, to get in the same position and repeat that also when sparring. So you're absolutely right, and the way of egos and the way of damages and things like that is it's non-existent in that period of training.
We found, didn't we? We found, like, when we have done some more of that sort of stuff, it forces people to be in the positions that they don't generally find themselves in when they roll. Like you get into your own little pattern, and you just go, right, I'm going from here to here. I'm going to use this transition to get there. So you probably kind of spend 90% of your time in sort of 10% or whatever, pick a number, 20%, 25% of positions. Okay. Well, actually, why don't we make sure you always know what the bad position feels like, and start there. And then if you get caught there, well, now you might have a chance of feeling comfortable enough to do something about it.
So
situation definitely is a winner for me.
Absolutely. And if you guys ever had the possibility to train under a Gracie Baja studio, or go there and just feel it out, they have like this timetable on the walls. They're training after this curriculum, pretty strict one. And I've been one in Spain, and I think one in Italy as well. And they are actually having that part of the timetable, that positional sparring is a pretty huge piece of the cake there. So they actually that were at first actually felt it like they were doing it on a steady basis that was actually under the Gracie Baja regime. Yeah, that's the first time I saw it. Yeah.
So what have you said? You've been watching quite a lot of videos and quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
What sort of stuff have you?
Prime,
What's that?
Netflix, Amazon Prime.
Yeah, sorry. You've been watching quite a lot of jiu-jitsu stuff.
Yeah. My girlfriend always says like, "Oh, is it those guys again?" And that's Hero and Henner, because I've probably seen all the Gracie breakdowns and the DVDs for many years. So she knows their voices. But now there's a guy called Dave Kama, who has this. He has a student who's doing his video for him, and he has very much the same philosophy as Pedro. I think a little bit old school, but he has. I think he's like my age, and he has a lot of good thinking of how his academy is and things like that. I don't agree with him with everything. There's a belt things and a few other things that I don't agree with, but he has a pretty nice way of taking up both sides of every case. And he's I get a lot of inspiration from him. And there's also a Gracie Academy that's called Redline, and that has their own YouTube channel, which and a lot of these places seems to me like the last year has been giving out so much video content for free, because all these guys want, probably like you guys, the students, to stay, or they need a different kind of income, and it's and of course Pedro, I see he's giving out 2 new now. With that the BJJ Fanatics. So have you any of you guys seen it?
No, to be honest, I watched the intro when he did a little mount escape when he did the UPA, but did some little bits on the UPA.
Yeah, and the side control. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely will buy the two BJJ Fanatics things. I'll be honest, I haven't watched. I've hardly watched any jiu-jitsu at all in the last year. I don't know. I mean, I can't even tell you why. I think it's just I don't feel like I can, because I don't feel like I could engage with it or practice it. I'm a bit like you. I haven't got sort of a partner to train it with. So I think I've kind of I've thought about jiu-jitsu a lot. I wonder if it thought about me. I've thought about jiu-jitsu a lot, and I've sort of thought about the curriculum and run moves through in my head and kind of done a bit of that kind of visualization, not even on purpose, but just, you know, when you daydream a bit, I start thinking about jiu-jitsu. And then obviously with us doing the podcast, talking about it, but I haven't watched very much, I have to say. And actually, I think running back into when I know that it's getting closer, I will probably watch a bit more again, and maybe some new, a bit like you, some new stuff, but some fundamental stuff like here on Antenna stuff, and watch, you know, rewatch our curriculum and rewatch Master Sauer's re-videoing of the curriculum rather than the old versions, just to see the differences and start to try and pick those out. Almost getting ready to teach more than anything else. So I haven't watched much. I don't know if these guys have watched much or.
No. I can tell you why I don't. It makes me sad that I'm not doing it. It genuinely, I watch a video, or if I see some jiu-jitsu, it's kind of like brings a tear to my eye. And
you remember there was the conference at HQ a couple of months back?
Yeah.
And I was watching the live of that, and I was like, I've got to turn this off.
Yeah.
I can't even deal with this.
I have to say I totally agree with you, because I was starting to do those things with HQ and watching these. Of course, it was a little too late for me. I'm even 1 hour before you guys as well. So that like, okay, it's like 12 o'clock at night and I have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I can't do this. But I got the same feeling from that one. That was a little bit sad to actually watch that. But all the other videos I have with the mentality of Helio, like, okay, I'm sitting and watching, and somehow I believe when I step on the mat, I remember everything. But we'll see. I'm not quite sure. But like one day I step on and all these things have gone through my mind, and all these grips and everything, and all this.
I think the thing for myself is, well, I guess for the other guys as well, but because I am doing some stuff like with my wife, like I haven't, there isn't the time. We're running classes. We're doing like every session that we would have, there's something on, whether it's a podcast or whether we do like a weekly quiz or something, you know, there's not much spare time. And then when I am doing stuff, we're doing fundamentals and I'm teaching my wife. So actually, to be fair, we focused more kind of, well, me personally, I focus more on the stuff we've already got.
Yeah.
Because I've been, you know, passing that on a little bit more. So I haven't really, as much as everybody needs, you know, to develop, like my development at the moment has been focusing backwards a little bit, I guess. Bit of a weird way of putting it, but
I'm a monster on the kids curriculum.
yeah, Pete's kid, like he knows that kid stuff now.
Because I do all the kids online classes, and those are the ones I'm teaching. Yeah, I'm a killer on the kids curriculum.
Did you ever try the Gracie Bulletproof?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we use we run the Pedro Sauer stuff, and they're kind of they're getting into the Pedro Sauer stuff now, the Master Sauer stuff, in terms of their development.
Yeah.
And we've got mixes of variations of those moves, because they work really well just for movement, like just for them understanding the movement and the everything like that. So it's really
you
good.
Do the wild horse and the Spider-Man and the they bringing down the giants and everything like that.
No, they love it. They're killers, and we've had like this hardcore of kids, probably, let's say, across the 2 age
2 years. It's 2 years now, since February 12th.
Yeah, 2 years ago we started the kids class, and we've now got this core that have stayed obviously in person, and then they've been doing it on Zoom at home with their parents. And there must be a core of about 15 kids, I guess, across the 2 classes, something like that. Maybe.
Wow. That's great.
Even you can just see, because they've had, it's almost in a way been better for them, because they've had obviously us teaching, and then their parents, they've had a parent as their body one-to-one the whole way through, so they don't have to wait for a go. They don't have to, they're doing jiu-jitsu for their full hour, full on, twice a week or once a week, and they're getting good.
We've kind of got that thing, haven't we? Like we've got like some of the younger ones, like Sophia, or who, you know, that kind of age group. You can see they've gone from doing like movements, and now they can legitimately do some submissions and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to get people, but they understand. Like you say, and do an armbar. But you look at some of the older ones, and we're gonna be in danger in a couple of years. But the younger ones are getting okay. The older ones, it's just
But that's one of my challenges, since I am in a taekwondo school. When kids coming there, like we have like 100 kids in taekwondo. So of course, when they step into our academy, where kids go, where the rest of the kids go, and that's like taekwondo is huge in Norway, always been, and so it's more or less the only kids I've got in my club is because their parents train and they bring the kids, and they actually they take care of the kids or bring friends with the kids so they can do the training with us, or they actually train with themselves.
You have like, well, before obviously, do you have like separate children's sessions, or are they just coming in and talk about?
No, we haven't had that. We said like if kids are coming in, they are with their parents, or actually they come in pairs, and we take care of it. We go through with them and things like that, but we are mainly focused on 16, or I've said 13 and upwards. That's when they come and they can train with everybody. That's where we have started. But I always hope that and a few of the guys that train are now the children are getting close to 5 or 6 or something like that. I said like and I hope and I guess that will happen within the next 2 years, that some of them will actually start that kids program. But right now taekwondo is stealing all our kids, but we'll see. I mean, when we start, but it's okay. It's okay.
Well, I mean, we didn't have a kids program for the first 3 years, did we? And then we introduced it, and then obviously, we started with that core group of similar, like obviously Bill's kids doing
Yeah.
it, and Bill's sister, her daughter doing it, and then she brought a couple of her friends along, and kind of they all started doing it. So it was a social network that started it, really, as much as anything. And then we launched the second one in a slightly different venue in a different town, and pre-sold it. So we advertised it and took names down, ready to start. And we started with 2 full classes. It was crazy, 2 full classes of kids. But yeah, it's so the one thing definitely with I feel the most from the kids is how rewarding 2 years down the line it is to see.
Yeah.
To see them, like one of our members, Matt, his son Lucas trains, and obviously Bill's eldest trains. I mean, they both do, but Bill's eldest trains in the older group, and obviously because they've been doing a bit more for a bit longer, whereas the little kids are focused on, like you say, the movements and doing things like Spider Kid and just control positions and just getting into doing submissions. But Matt was saying the other night, genuinely, he finds his son Lucas becoming a handful, and he's only, how old's Lucas? 8, 9?
No, I think he just
No,
sorry,
similar to Aaron, so he's 10 coming up for 11, I think.
you might have just turned 11, but whatever. Yeah, that kind of age, 10 or 11.
And he's like, genuinely, he's a handful.
Yeah.
Because it's slightly different for Bill, obviously, because with Bill being a bit more experienced and being a purple belt, Matt's a white belt. So Lucas and Matt have been training not that much different a period of time.
No.
And he's like, I'm having problems.
Yeah.
So,
But that is the charm of the whole thing. Yeah. Like it works. And if you get the technique, it works. It works on everybody. Yeah. Did you see Rodolfo Vieira on the UFC here the last few weeks ago?
no.
No, like he was been this huge prospect, and I think he's like ADC champion 2 or 3 times, world champion 7 times, and unknown guy tapped him out. He was full of adrenaline and get the adrenaline dump, and in round 2 he was submitted by an unknown guy. And but like you said, jiu-jitsu works. You get that in, everybody has to tap.
Because he's really well known for his pressure passing, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like serious pressure pass. But he must be, without being rude, because he's probably younger than me, he must be getting on a little bit now, is he? How old's Adolfo? He must be,
I don't know, I would guess like 35, I don't know, something like that.
Maybe he's younger than I thought he was. Yeah.
Younger than you, though, Pete.
Yeah, younger than me. Yeah. I'm not going to criticise his jiu-jitsu in the slightest. Isn't he from the other lineage as well? Isn't he from the Fada lineage as well? Is he great?
Yeah. He's from the Fada. Yeah. Even though I don't know exactly what is the difference in their practical or philosophical way. I just know there's a Fada line, but I don't know if there is different like other more physical, or did they do more wrestling? I don't know that history. I have to read that on. So
I mean, for people that don't realise, there's another lineage of grappling, incredibly similar to jiu-jitsu, and a lot of the guys, they all compete in jiu-jitsu tournaments, and it's the GFT team are a Fada lineage, aren't they?
Yeah.
And Rodolfo Vieira comes from that kind of lineage. I weirdly read something about it the other day, and I'm definitely going to mess this up, but it's I think they had, like you say, a bit more of a wrestling influence.
Yeah,
I think there was more of a wrestling influence to start with, and it just a similar branch at the similar like parallel thinking almost, wasn't it? From what I see, and obviously I think early on they were in quite a lot of competition with the Gracies, but the Gracies did a better PR job. I think is probably fair to say.
In addition to these books, I also ordered now Robert Drysdale just published a book, and I think that actually takes up some of these questions. And also Hickson Gracie also just got a new book out there, so I just ordered it on Buddha Videos, so we'll see. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw he had a new book out. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I need to look at that. That should be good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Are you guys still under the Global Jiu-Jitsu Federation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually,
I was thinking about getting in there now when we open up again. Yeah.
we need to. Yeah, we might need to renew our might be coming around time to renew. I can't remember now.
They take money every now and again.
Yeah, we do that. And before lockdown, I got the video, all of Hickson's new videos that he did for that.
Actually, I bought them so I've actually have that subscription, but I have it as a private person. I haven't done it through the system. No.
Right. Yeah. No, we did it to sort of support what Hickson was doing with that, and it actually ended up getting us 2 members a long time ago, didn't it? Where they saw the Global Jiu-Jitsu Federation website and found our school because of that. They're the only people that ever have, but
like that.
Why not? I mean, it's not, again, it's not an expensive subscription to it as a school, and you get a nice sticker.
The nice sticker, like a address on some internet site, whatever. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Not one of those type of adverts.
Yeah.
So just going back to the GFT thing, it was
Sorry,
it was 1978. Fernando Gumiares, I don't know how you say it, but he was a professor, and he tried to get it put into the university curriculum. But he was a Carlson Gracie black belt, and that was where the kind of the divide happened. But a big black belt judo, jiu-jitsu, and the GFT kind of academy was founded in where was it? There was something there, I missed it. I've lost it. It was good. I was doing really well.
Yeah, I was getting drawn in then.
Yeah.
1996.
Storytelling is a technique.
1996, the academy was finally up and running in Rio de Janeiro.
Okay.
And that's when it was. That's when it became, its own club, and obviously great success with a number of champions since then.
There you go.
There you go. What am I? Am I the Jamie doing the technical research and stuff like that? I don't know.
Exactly. That makes you young Jamie.
Young Jamie.
We're just like that, except without the technical skill, the budget, or the listeners.
Yeah, or the content, because actually the GFT team was founded in 2007, not 1996. Just ignore that whole section, or if you want, just listen to it and then correct it after. It's fine.
Right. Yeah.
One quick question: was that the terere part? You going back to there?
Which one?
No.
Sorry.
I thought that the terere was one of the founding members in that story you told. No, no, maybe not. No.
I think it's better if he sends you the link.
I can't. Yeah.
No, it's okay.
I'll keep looking.
Okay.
I'll come back. Leave me here. I'll work it out.
Yeah.
We might have.
Yeah. I would advise you to take a look at the Valente brothers. They have some really good history lessons, and they have a huge library as well. So those guys, if always when I try to double check something, I always go back to the Valente brothers. They have a lot of videos, and many of them are on history, down to why the belts are this way and things like that. They are, if somebody goes back to the Helio school all the way there, I think they're more original Gracie than any of their sons or any of their relatives right now. They actually follow, and with the geese, even though they cut them like the old Helio geese. So yeah, these guys are great, and they're doing great work in Miami, I think. Yeah.
It's weird that thing with the. How much do you preserve and stay the same, and how much do you adapt and evolve with it as well, isn't it? It's I think it's good that they have that preservation attitude, because we can look back at that, and then it's nice to have the other side as well. I'm sitting on the fence properly here.
Yeah,
it's nice to.
Splinters in his bum.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice, but it's nice to have the evolution as well, isn't it? To have both.
Absolutely. But what I really like about those guys is like they have made a conscious decision on where they are. Yeah, this is the line we're going to follow. This is our lineage. This is exactly how this is our vision that we're going to end up there. And I think many other places like, okay, we don't have a vision, but we drift. Oh, this guy gets in here, and then we drift a little bit back and forth. So they have a clear vision of where they want to go. And I think Huron and Hen are also very close to that. They have a clear vision, and I don't get that back and forth. And that way they I think that's the best way to get the best curriculum, is that having a clear vision of where we are and where we actually want to go, and how to get there. So
yeah.
Just
I think that goes right back to what we said at the beginning, isn't it? Is that you have that set curriculum that you can rotate through. Students know where they are, and you can't include everything and you can't learn everything. There's just not the time to do it. But like you say, you stick to that clear vision, and you're going to get the best student that you can.
Yeah.
From that, from that clear vision. Otherwise, you're fishing around trying to find all the best techniques and changing everything every week. And I don't think anyone grows from that particularly.
No, it gets confusing very sometimes.
Yeah, it's strange, but cool. Go on. Robin, you were going to say something. Sorry, I
was looking at just a stupid face.
Okay, that's all right then. So yeah, if anyone's out, not at the moment, but if anyone's out in Norway and they want to come and,
you're not allowed to enter the realm of Norway within the next 3 or 4 months anyway. So we stop you at the border, and but if you come after that, please contact me on Moss Jiu-Jitsu. Facebook is easiest. And do we actually have a Pedro Sauer page where they can find us now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. If that's there, they can also find my there, and of course, they can contact me directly as well. Should be able to find me on Instagram and Facebook and the Moss Jiu-Jitsu, or just my name, Jørn Bakken. So please contact me. Yeah.
What I'll do as well in the show notes for iTunes and stuff, that's okay. I'll put the Moss Jiu-Jitsu link on there for them as well, so that they can find the academy if they want to travel out there as well. So we'll do that as well. That'd be cool. And definitely we need to get the European side of things strong. And
we will do. Is this the way? Yeah, that's the way. Yeah.
Awesome. Right. Well, I'm going to cut it off here. Thank you, everybody. Again, as always, if you've made it this far, can you make sure you've hit the like, subscribe, notification button for YouTube, wherever that is? I'll put that on there somewhere. And if you can, obviously available on iTunes, on Spotify, and under Google Podcasts now, and anywhere else you find your podcasts. Please feel free to comment and give a rating on there, because that really helps as well. But other than that, thank you everybody for listening or watching, and we'll catch you next week. So thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.